As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have a
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And to all of you listening, thank you for tuning in. This is the day when you learn more about your business. And Crystal, we got a great show today, right?
Oh, we actually do. So for a while, it's been a little minute where it's just been you and I spending the 2 hours.
It's been a while.
Sharing with our guests and our audience the things that we know and the things that should be shared.
Oh yeah.
So when I realized that we didn't have a guest today, that I thought, wait a minute, this is an opportunity for us because we need to do this every now and then. I think we should do it once a month.
We got to do it.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
So what I decided to do was there was when our guest was here last week.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying something to the nature that we hadn't shared when we were talking about we have to give our people a permission to be successful.
Yes.
And we were saying, a lot of people don't even know who the successful entrepreneur is.
Exactly.
So it gave me an idea last night. I must have dreamed it because I knew what we were going to do today. And so when I went to bed, I was like, okay, what are we going to do today? Okay. It'll come to me. So
there it is.
So this morning I went, wait a minute, we're going to do that. Because, we know about all of, there's some that everybody knows about, and that you did probably learn in some sort of American history or something. But there are a lot of them out there of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
A lot of trailblazers, a lot of minority trailblazers that we know about and we take for granted.
Right, exactly. We take for granted. And then there's some new ones out there that doing, and not just little mom and pop type of businesses, because we're under the mindset as black people that we're capable of doing as mom and pop. But that's not our ancestors.
Nope.
That's not the frontier leaders. They had big, huge businesses. So that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. And what the net worth were then in that time frame, and then what their net worth would be in today
versus now.
Now, right? Yeah. And so it will blow you away.
Oh yes.
So again, no reason for us to be broke and poor if we were actually creating businesses that had that magnitude to it. So that's what we're going to talk about.
I agree.
Hey Kim, hey William, hey Bill, and hey Earl. Welcome to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Give us a call at 323-293-3375. It's going to be a great show. If you guys have someone in your family that was an incredible entrepreneur that you want to share their story with us, we encourage you we're reaching out to you to have you give us a call as well. Because I know in my family there were a great many entrepreneurs, and everybody's family. And I think it's time for us to recognize that part of our history and be able to start thinking about how to close that wage gap that goes on out there. Because we don't have to be like this.
Exactly.
There's no reason. We need just to stand up, and take accountability and do what we do. And do what our ancestors have done. And these people have been starting businesses with nothing.
Right.
I mean, if you could start a business in 1800 and you just got out of slavery, I don't see how you have an excuse today.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And some cultures, from Jamaica, that's how they do business, right?
Exactly.
Right. That's where the term comes from. I'm Jamaican, I got minty jobs.
I got 15 jobs now.
It came from that. So that's going to be our subject today. Successful entrepreneurs of yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Right.
So how was your week?
Oh man, this week was full, packed, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I feel like I'm Superman, trying to be normal.
Superman trying to be normal.
Trying to be normal. I had so many things that I had to do. I had some workshops. Of course, I'm doing the workshop with the Vermont Slauson Economic Development Center.
Okay.
I'm doing a 6-class entrepreneurial training program. So actually, it's a contract readiness training program.
Okay. Somebody I talked to was over there this week. I don't know who it was, but
I know because they mentioned your name to me too.
Yeah, somebody was over there this week.
Yeah, there was a lady who mentioned your name. I go, wow, you know Crystal?
Everybody know me.
Yes. So it was a nice class. We had about 15 to 16 folks and small businesses, and we went over business best practices, infrastructure. We did elevator pitch.
Okay.
And we also did the elevator pitch was interesting because I had them present to each other.
Oh, okay.
So did some role playing. So that was good.
Yeah.
And then we did a business plan. We went into the business plan piece of it. Not too deep, but
Just understanding what the business model is.
Yes.
And how they make money.
Exactly.
Yeah, because so many people don't know how they're supposed to make and the multiple streams of it, revenue streams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They think they can just have one.
They think they can have one, and one is what they should have, and that's it. I'm saying, no. You got to look at multiple streams because the one that you have in mind may not be the money maker.
Right, exactly.
It may not be the money maker.
It may not be the money maker at that time, but could be at another time.
Yes.
But if they had something going on, then they actually could.
Exactly.
They could have that
can
monetize it, and also not have to just rely on one source.
One source, exactly. So those are some things we went over, and then the same day. Same day I had, because as the president of my homeowners association, we hired some roofers to replace the roofs.
Okay.
Woo. Well, one of the workers decided to break into one of the cars on the premises.
Oh, my goodness.
So I had to get a police report. I had to get the cops on the scene. We've had to watch the videotapes, the surveillance videos. That sucked up 3 days of my week. 3 days going back and forth with the cops and this person, and it was just awful.
And you already don't have any time.
And I don't have any time. So that was that. So that just forces most of my workload to be backed up now.
Right, exactly. We got to make it. We got to do it easy. We got to
figure
out how to streamline.
We got to do
and
easy.
automate our operation.
Wow. See, the thing about it is I keep taking on additional clients, I should be like you where I just said, okay, this is the number of clients I'm going to work with right now. After this period, I'll take on one or two more, but see, I'll keep taking on additional ones.
No. I had to because you can't service them. So my rationale now is if I can take on bigger clients, then that way you're making more money. Will justify losing the little clients, which really take up more time and require more of your attention. And so, but maybe that just means, and I know for me it does, we need to duplicate some of the things that we do so we can farm it out. I think that's what that really means. I think we're growing out of what we were doing. And we talk about that all the time, right? And when it's time to make a pivot, and if the pivot is structured and with a strategy, then we can move upward. Right. And I think that's where you probably are. Because you can't keep doing all this traveling all over. Because at some point, something gets lost in the translation.
And not only does it work you out and, drains your energy for flying and traveling all the time, but it also eats up your money.
It eats up your money. So
all your profits is just going into transportation.
So my thing is, if you're going to travel, that needs to be at least $10,000, right?
To make it worth it.
To make it worth your while. And they pay for your travel expenses. That's the way that needs to work. You can't
Unbelievable.
You can't be spending your money because it doesn't benefit you.
Doesn't benefit me. And I mean, what's the purpose in doing this when you're breaking even?
Right. And now with the new tax law, you may not even be able to write off the half the stuff. So that don't even make any sense. Yeah, that makes no sense. So we got to figure out how to do this more efficiently.
We definitely
and that way you can figure out how to sleep.
And I need that too.
Isn't that what the lady said last week?
Yes. And you know
sleep.
what's amazing? As a small business, we measure everything, right?
Right.
So I start measuring my downtime to see when I'm going to fall asleep. And like clockwork, every day between 4 and 6, my body just shuts down and starts.
Tired.
Yeah. And start falling asleep. And I'm going, holy moly, I can't believe this.
Yeah, because it's trying to tell you something.
Even though I'm trying to fight it, it's just putting me to sleep. It's going, you're going to sleep now.
Yeah, because you don't have you're not sleeping at nighttime.
Yeah.
I know this, with the last 6 weeks, since June for me, and once we started the biz camp, and then I had no downtime. Then I went straight to that conference, which was really only 2 days of downtime because I was with my cousin, and the rest of it was I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning and going to bed at 11, 12 o'clock because of the thing. And then as soon as I came back, right back into the biz camp with the kids. So last Friday I had said after graduation, I am not waking up until just probably before I went to the show. So I did all the things for the show the night before.
So were you able to do that?
And I literally slept to 12 o'clock.
Oh, man, I give you credit.
It felt so good.
I give you credit.
And then Saturday and Sunday was super busy.
Yeah.
Because I'm preparing for my first dance number, my first burlesque number.
The burlesque, right?
Yeah, on August 11th, we're doing our show.
That's great.
You want to come out?
Sure.
Okay.
Let me see what day of the week that is.
That's on a Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
On the August 11th. So,
yes.
And then I had a little show this was a quick impromptu on Friday night. Was it Friday night? Saturday night.
Yeah.
This group, they do Zumba at the studio. And so they were having a comedy night. It was a Latino, Hispanic group. And so they wanted us to come in and do just a little preview of what our class is.
Was pretty good,
It was pretty good. So we did a little strip tease to that one. And they were like, oh my God. And then the guys were doing cat calls. We didn't really any importance. But, it shocked them that we even did it.
I know.
So that was kind of cool.
That's good.
So we had fun with that.
That's good.
That's my alter ego.
Oh, yeah.
Soon I'll have my burlesque name. And
what do you call her?
I don't know yet. We don't.
You haven't named her yet.
Yeah, we got to name it because it's usually supposed to represent your personality, right? So it's all clean, guys, all clean. But the inner Sasha Fierce.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I did that on Saturday. So then Sunday we were in rehearsal all day. So then Monday I said, okay, again, I'm not even going to get out of my pajamas on Monday. And I did not get out of my pajamas at all on Monday.
Love that.
I worked, but I didn't
that.
even leave the bed. I worked from the bed. And then Tuesday I had some stuff to do. But it felt so good. Because y'all can't get rid of this cold.
I envy you, man.
You have to make it happen, dude. You just can't. It ain't going to happen by itself.
You notice I don't even call you on Saturdays at work because I know that's your downtime.
Oh, yeah, that's my...
You're going, hey, I don't want to talk to anybody.
That's my tennis downtime. I enjoy it. And the dance piece is my downtime. So I at least have that outlet. You got to get it back in the studio. That's
I know.
You like to
I
do.
Probably should. I'll play some tennis or something.
Yeah, right. But you want to do your music? Go to the studio and block out a couple hours.
I should.
Do your music. And then you'll be all right.
I know, man. My body is talking to, because you know how it is. If you don't listen to your body, then it will tell you things.
It will tell you.
It will say, hey, you don't want to take some break? Okay, I'll give you a break.
I'm going to make sure you break. Let me show you how we're going to break, dude. Yeah, no, you got to take care. Because you can't, one of the things I know that I have to shut down because my brain, is always going, right? So you got to at least rest it.
Yeah.
And so that you can continue to be beneficial to what you do. So you got to give it some relaxation.
Oh, yeah. You know what I find myself doing?
What?
Remember I tell you between 4 and 6, right? That's my downtime, my automatic downtime.
Right.
Whether I want to be down or not, it takes me down.
Right.
So sometimes I force it and I'm trying to send it like an email or write a proposal.
And you can't even recognize the language.
It's not happening. So I can't even recognize the words that I'm typing. And then if I ever sent an email during that time, it's all gargly goof.
I remember when I was working in corporate America, And I even tell my students this. I said, when you're not feeling well and you're doing accounting or bookkeeping, right?
Yeah.
And so there were times I would remember I would be not feeling well, maybe catching a cold and something. And so the next day I would finally just give in and leave.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back and then I'd look at some paperwork or something that I typed going like, what the hell
did I write?
So I was like, I guess I really wasn't, nothing made sense, nothing was adding up. But at the time you're thinking you're doing a lot, right?
Oh,
you're like, I'm being productive.
That's exactly what it was,
right, and then you go back going, what the heck
was this?
Right, exactly.
So I remember I sent this agreement to an attorney one time, right? And I wrote all kinds of stuff in it. So he called me the next day. He said, what is this? What are you trying to say here? I was like, oh, don't you understand it? No. What language is it?
That was my sleep language. I was communicating you in my sleep. That's hilarious.
Oh,
your body will dictate it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Veronica. This is Veronica saying hello.
Hey, Veronica, how you doing?
But yeah, you have to be the one. So we got to figure out a way to make sure you get your relaxation.
I gotta.
Isn't that what who was that? Michelle said that spirit check.
Oh,
you got to stop and pay attention to self because you're valuable.
Oh yeah, and if you don't put yourself in check, it will put you in check.
It will put you in check, right? Exactly. And you know what you do. I mean, you're good at what you do, so it would be a disservice.
That's true
to everybody.
That is true.
But we can't be everything to everybody.
That's
so
true.
I think that's a valuable lesson, not just for us, but even for our clients that. You have to understand what your limitations are and put yourself in some sort of routine or some sort of downtime so you can replenish and refresh.
I'm going to have to select my clients more carefully.
I think so.
Because I think I'm trying to be that shepherd who doesn't want to leave any of his sheep behind. Right. Even though a few of them went astray.
Right.
He's going, oh, stop here. Let me go find those. No,
I think you have to. I mean, because one thing, if you give them the tools to do what needs to be done, and after that, and you help them with a strategy to do those tools, and they don't do it at that point, what else can you do?
That's true.
Because at that point, you're just kind of beating the drums.
Yeah.
And so I think, you're not the only ones. We all. I think anybody that's in our consulting capacity, we all find ourselves in that place. When I was talking to someone yesterday I met with, that's what he was saying. His business has always been one-to-one. He says, and I literally have spoiled my clients. And he says, and it has limited my revenue generating ability because I can't generate the kind of revenue that I have proposed or did his goal setting for because I can't get to the things that's really going to make the more.
I think I do the same too. I think I spoil my clients. I spoil them rotten, and I try to do too much and more than hand holding. I sometimes do the work for them. Right. So I need to get them into that mode where they can be self-sufficient.
Yeah, you got to empower them to do that. And, this year at the Biz Camp, we recognize that because usually it's me and Bonnie and Rhonda doing the camp, right? And we would get some interns, but they were more for the purpose of helping out with the kids while we're in the classroom, right? Yeah. And so this time, I have to give this to Brian at the Urban League because we don't normally go and do this super plan thing because we kind of know what the routine is. Yeah. But Brian had us put everything on paper. We had poster boards all over, and we went through every detail. I mean, what interns we were going to hire, and we were going to hire them this time, and what we expected them to do. And thank God he did that because we then gave empowerment to the interns. Right. And one day, I think it was like the second day, because we were like getting the food together, serving the food, cleaning up afterwards, waiting for the parents to come pick up the kids, in addition to what we were doing, the teaching and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. This go round, it was like we came in, We didn't have to come in. We didn't have to be there at 8 o'clock. Like they came in. They got the breakfast out there.
Oh, wow.
They served the kids.
That is great.
Then we came in, and I just went right to the room to teach.
Great.
And then
that must have been a good feeling.
It was incredible. And then we could just sit around. When we went downtown, excuse me, when we went downtown for sale day and for the kids to buy wholesale, me and Rhonda went to another store. We had enough support. We had enough volunteers.
Support,
We had enough interns.
Yeah.
They took 5 kids.
That's
and Rhonda
great.
says, wow, I don't know what to do with ourselves. We were like, we can shop for ourselves.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, we can never go backwards. From here on out, they were our eyes doing class. If the kids were looking at videos and stuff and not paying attention to, they'd go over and close the computers and take it away or take them out and have conversations. It was awesome. So I think I'm like, this is the way things get. This is much more productive.
You gotta have to keep
Patricia. Yeah, so that's what I think you have to do. And I think it's because we both have very high standards of customer service.
Yep.
So the thing is to deliver that same, but we got to find out what that happy medium is, right? Yeah. So I think that's important for us. That's a good lesson for us to learn.
That is true.
Yeah, so it's the end of the year, so you can start. You can't obviously make changes this year, but next year you can identify the clients that will be the most productive for you. Hey, Keith, how are you? Most productive, and then I think we're much more impactful for larger groups. But now that means we just have to start duplicating ourselves for the people that can execute the work.
That is true.
The way that we want to train them, the way we want them to train so that they can deliver.
Right.
Thank you, Keith. Keith says I look so beautiful. Thank you, Keith. So I think that's important, especially if we're talking about doing books and online teaching and all that.
By the way, I started writing.
Oh, did you?
I started writing.
Oh, good for you.
I started putting some content together. So
okay. So we're gonna the first one we could actually just do. We can just go back and listen and do and select some specific.
Like even last week's show was a very good one.
It was fantastic.
I get a lot of feedback on that. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is great. We should have it again."
Yeah, and then I sent them their copy of their clip, and so Wendy actually Michelle has actually been putting it up on her Facebook page and stuff. So and saying she had a fantastic time. So, ladies, we really appreciate it. We really had some phenomenal guests.
We did,
and I think so. I don't know if I have to send it over to you. I made a little video collage because we need to fill up our time slot. So I'm going to send that, and then you can send it out to your people. Yeah. I got Veronica on there. I got Sandy Lou on there, and I put their names and what they do, and that we're looking for guests for our upcoming shows in August and September.
I like that. I can't wait to see it.
So I'll send that over to you today, and then you can reach out because we need to get more guests in for the end of the year.
Sounds like a plan.
So what else? Let's see. The news has been quite interesting this week.
Lord.
The president is on the ropes.
He is.
They're closing in.
Yeah, he is something else, man.
Yeah, I know.
See, when in doubt, when he feels like he did something wrong and he wants to turn the attention in another direction, he comes up with, okay, I'm gonna pay this for the wall, or I'm gonna pay this to the farmers, or you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And then people start paying attention to that. So, what do you mean? What do you mean? So then you stop focus on the Russia.
Right, exactly. But this week the news media was brutal, boy. Yeah. They were like they knew it was distraction. They wasn't backing down. And then what they kept doing is they talk about that and then they pull it right back into Russia. Yeah. And in fact, I think this week I saw less people who were trying. They were even at a place where they couldn't even defend him anymore. Because when he went on that Putin wasn't interested in him. And then Putin around like, nah, I am interested in you, dude. Yeah. And then since Manafort is in court, which is about to... he should have a heart attack based upon just that. But because between Cohen and Manafort... Right. I mean, did you see how much money Manafort was spending and all the money was coming in from Russia?
Unbelievable. the dude was getting like an ostrich coat or snakeskin coat. I'm going, well, what is this guy thinking?
I know, and it's all coming in from foreign. They got a New York madam who's going to be on Mueller's, who's going to be talking to Mueller.
That's going to be
I mean, the wall is coming like he is backed up. He almost flattened into a pancake on the back wall. And then his sons. So now they're like, forget collusion. Man, this is conspiracy. You going down for conspiracy. Collusion ain't got nothing to do with it. It's conspiracy. Because that's always, isn't that how they got Al Capone? Was follow the money. Yep. That's all they have to do is follow the money. And this money trail is, and even Ivanka, yesterday when she decided the low point that taking the kids, that was a low point. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the only low point that your daddy did. But that's because...
That should have been established as a low point a long time ago.
But that's because, they shut down her clothing line. Yeah. And she had to close that business. And now they're talking about her jewelry line is a laundering. Yeah. Has been used for laundering big money for the oligarchs. Or they going to jail. Yeah, I guess it is a low point because they may be taking her children from her too. Yeah. See how that feels. So it was an interesting week in the political world. Yes. I think right now our thing is just making sure everybody understands that it's important that they go out and vote. You have to vote, and don't be voting for no independent because that is not part of the
giving away the vote.
Don't give away the vote. Just make sure we get this man out. We have to vote. That's all it is. Just vote. Just whatever you do, vote. That's my response to everything.
He went and he closed down the small business program that they had. They used to have all these assistance program for small business. Most of those are cut out. Yeah. Most of those are cut out. I'm going, wow.
Everything. He's just, clean air. That's our thing. Clean air. Then got rid of that. The tariffs are going to kill us. We're going to be paying $1,200 for toilet paper.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. The man, he's not a businessman.
No, he's not.
It just goes. Then yesterday he talked to the black preachers, which went and just completely embarrassed themselves. I don't even know how somebody can make a fool out of you over and over and over again.
Wow.
It just doesn't make any sense at all.
That is unbelievable.
At all.
That is unbelievable.
So we're at the bottom of the hour. Our first hour. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to get into talking about our successful entrepreneurs.
Some of our historical entrepreneurs who've done great things.
Yeah, you're going to be surprised. Yeah, I sent you over the little script, and so we're going to talk about some interesting things.
Okay, great.
All right.
Take a break.
We'll be right back.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Playing in the ATA Nationals means a lot to me because I get to play with my peers.
It's almost like a family reunion of some sort.
A lot of beautiful, beautiful people.
After 101 years, it's really great.
The person who made this happen really must have cared about Black African American people.
Playing at the ATA Nationals means contribution to a major legacy, and it's almost a moral obligation for me to play.
I'm sort of walking in the footsteps of my ancestors.
You've got the resources and the technology of the USTA National Campus, along with the passion of the ATA players, and it's amazing.
The USTA and the ATA are one, and that we're coming together as a whole people, and it's really amazing to see.
Playing at the USTA National Campus, it's coming full circle.
You can feel the excitement of everybody here. It's just a great experience. It really is.
Excellent. Are you contract ready? Are you bank loan ready? So I want to know how business ready you guys are. Part of what we want to do is to match you up with contract providers in Vegas, the casinos.
We put together this training for the contractors in Las Vegas to assist them in becoming business ready.
You know, when you first start a small business, the thing you're shortest on is resources. So the association is actually providing the training free.
Now, Buchanan Associates, they're very well known throughout the U.S., mainly out of the California region, but they have produced so many successful companies that we felt if we brought them here to train our people, that it would allow for that growth because we have so many public works type projects, stadiums that are going to be built slated between now and the next 2 years, prepared to be able to do that work.
Okay.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, Crystal, we're talking about some amazing entrepreneurs that has come through the door, opened the door for us.
They opened the door, so we're going to start with some of the entrepreneurs for back in the day. Some of them we know about. And usually we talk about these individuals during Black History Month. But I think it's important for us to talk about our heroes and our sheroes all the time.
Yeah.
And so since today is that opportunity for us. So the first one we're going to talk about, his name is James Fortin. He was a Philadelphia sailmaker. He invented sail making device.
Really?
This is like for boats.
Oh,
the sails.
sails.
That enabled him to create a highly profitable business. And by the 1830s, he was worth an estimated $100,000.
Wow.
In 1830.
Wow, that was like $1 million then.
Right. So he said today, in today's world, adjusted for inflation, he would have been worth approximately $2.5 million.
2.5. Wow.
And so he used his acquired wealth. He invested in many slavery abolition initiatives, and even served as the vice president of the American Anti-Slavery Society.
Wow.
So there's a book out there. So this is what we want you guys to do. We're going to give you this information. We want you now to go do some Googling and find out more about these individuals.
Yeah.
Share this information with your children and yourselves.
Yeah.
And in your daily conversation, it's time that we start to support and talk about our own history. We don't need anybody to do that for us. We don't need a month. We don't need to do any of that.
Exactly.
And maybe to happen. So there's a book out there called Gentlemen of Color, The Life of James Forten. And so it really talks about his life and how he went about acquiring over $100,000 in the 1800s.
That's amazing. That's unheard of.
Right? So, you know, basically when you stop to think about it, he probably was, when he was a slave, he probably worked for a company that produced ships, and his job was to create sales, was to make the sales, and he probably, because that's how our businesses took place, right? It's like a mother of invention. So he had to figure out a way that would make his job easier and also quicker and to keep him from getting beat or killed.
That's true.
Right? So that's the mother of invention.
Yeah.
So then he took that talent or skill and then he utilized that to become a millionaire back in that time. So the next guy up on the roster from a yesterday entrepreneur his name was Samuel T. Wilcox. In the 1850s, Wilcox became a wholesale and retail grocer in Cincinnati. On top of establishing a pickling and preserving business, he also was one of the first to establish a high-quality grocery store, offering only the finest and best brands of hams, dried fruit, soaps, and other articles. Because of this, most of his customers were wealthy, likely attributing to his eventually annual sales of $140,000 per year, which, adjusted by inflation today, would be approximately $4.2 million.
Wow.
Now, that's not too shabby.
Not shabby
and
at all.
these are individuals that were slaves.
And the market was all dried up to them. So
So they had to create something for themselves, which is where we are today, right? If we were creating our own businesses, creating our own supermarkets, going to our own, supporting our own supermarkets, we could increase the wealth in our communities. We could move that gap from, what is that? I think they said it was going to take 249 years for us to close the wealth gap. Well, you could close the wealth gap here.
For sure.
Right?
Sure.
So, so that was amazing to me. And then this one, his name was Paul Kofi, I think it is. And Paul was the son of an Indian woman and looks like a African guy. His name was Ghanaian Ashate man, and was successful 1800 sea captain and businessman. He had an all-black crew. He served the Atlantic coast and sailed to Europe and Africa. After the American Revolution, he helped the British to efforts to resettle free slaves.
Wow. That is deep.
Yeah. So
that is deep.
Yeah.
That is deep.
So, you know, again, 1800s.
See, when I hear these stories, I try to fit myself in it to see how it would have been for me back then and, you know, what type of challenges I would have.
Right.
And how I would handle it.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to imagine this guy had to be on one of the islands, like Jamaica or wherever the islands that were being, Haiti, because he obviously had to, for his business to be around water, he had to be in an island type of environment. Right. So this could be an ancestor of yours.
Could be.
From Jamaica, right?
Could be.
So his book is called The Memories of Captain Paul Kofi. So I'm going to get that book. You can do this, guys, on Amazon and audio, and you can listen to him, learn about who we are. The next guy, his name is Stephen Smith. He grew up as an indentured servant in Philadelphia. From Pennsylvania. From a young age, he was assigned to work in the lumber yards by Thomas Brody, and whose wealth stemmed from his extensive lumber business. After buying his freedom for $50 at the age of 21, $50. He continued to work in the lumber yards until establishing his own lumber business in 1822. Wow. as well as dealing coal. By 1850, he was grossing $100,000 in annual sales. By 1857, he was worth approximately $500,000, which is about $13 million today. And on top of being a businessman, he was a minister and served as the chairman of the Black Abolition Organization in Columbia, Pennsylvania.
Wow, that's deep.
So how many clients have you had that give you when you're giving them direction and suggestions and recommendations, they come up with all kinds of excuses why they can't?
I would say 90% of them.
Right.
90%.
So what? No money? They don't have any money. I don't have the contacts.
Or I don't need this right now. The guy at the agency said, I can do this next year.
Right.
It's not true. No guy at the agency told him that.
So here was a slave, bought his own freedom for $50. Yes. So, and $50 at that time in the 1800s was no easy feat. That was like acquiring $100,000. Yeah. And then he took a skill, and I think this is what is most important. He took a skill, and he made that skill into a business.
See, that's what we got to do as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we don't have to be. It don't have to be anything outrageous.
Right. Just play to the pain of your target consumer.
Right.
If the target is you, play to it.
Right.
Play to it.
Play to it, right? So that was something. Let's see. Let's jump into some women here. So we have Clara Brown. She was an ex-slave. She moved to Colorado in the 1850s during the gold rush and managed to establish a successful laundry business. On top of serving as a midwife, cook, and nurse, she used the money to invest in various real estate deals, eventually owning 16 lots in Denver, 7 homes in Central City, and some other properties and mines around Colorado.
So, she must have befriended the black people who didn't think owning a home was important.
Right.
So they're going, we can hook you up with this person or that person.
Right.
And that's probably how she got there.
Yeah. Yeah. So her name is Clara Brown. She's an African-American pioneer. So again, there's a book out there about her, and you can find out more about her.
Clara Brown.
Clara Brown. So then this lady I was impressed with, her name is Annie Malone. And Annie was the first and most prominent African-American businesswoman. She founded and developed a school called Poro College, a commercial and education business focused on cosmetics for black women. Born to former slaves, Malone would later develop a chemical that straightened black women's hair without causing damage to the hair or scalp. Poro College, as an institution of learning, was established in a way to teach black people about black cosmetology.
It's amazing.
And through the school and business, she created jobs for 75,000 women around the world. She's recorded as the first black female millionaire in the United States with a recorded estimate of $14 million in assets in 1920.
Wow.
So in today's time, that would be $167 million. So that was more than Madam C.J. Walker. Yeah. And we learned about her. About her, but I've never, ever heard of this lady right here.
And those are the ones who make the more money because they're flying under the radar. See, that's what I want to do. I want to fly
underneath the radar, right?
I don't want too many people knowing, what I do and how I do it.
I know.
So by the time I get my big contract, then they'll be just going, huh? Who is this?
Right, exactly.
How did you get that?
Exactly. So you know about the Booker T. Washingtons. We know about that. Now, have you ever heard of this lady? Her name is Maggie Lena Walker.
No.
Maggie was the first black woman in the United States to charter a bank. And by pooling her community monies, she formed the St. Luke Penny Saver Bank, of which she served as the first president, and later when the bank merged with 2 other Richmond, Virginia banks to form the Consolidated Bank and Trust Company, and she served as the chairman of the board of directors. So, we were talking about that last week about black-owned banks, right? So, again, slavery time, definitely harder than today to start a bank. So why can't we do things like that?
We can. We just got to light the fire.
I know. It just amazes me how many the capabilities that we have that we don't use. and I see it all the time with my clients and how talented they could be.
Yeah.
But they limit themselves.
They don't push themselves. They don't try to get to the next level. They just talk about it.
Yeah, we do a lot of talking. So, and we think that it's unattainable. That, you know, when you talk to our people, well, Oprah did that, but that's Oprah.
Yeah.
But Oprah's no different than Madam Walker or the lady, or who's this lady up here with the college, with the beauty college.
The one thing I learned, though, is when people's back are against the wall, that's when they become creative. That's when they do all these ingenious things. So maybe we got to force our population more to put their backs against the wall.
Yeah.
And then if you do that, then they'll try to do what they need to do to get to the next level.
To the next level. In Jamaica, so, because they're more entrepreneurial type.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised when I first went to Jamaica, and I think I mentioned this to you.
Yeah.
I was actually shocked. I wasn't surprised. I was shocked that all the shop owners weren't black. And that they were East Indian.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, how did that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, the color thing is really big in Jamaica. You got 85% of the population is black, and then the other 15-20%, they control most of the things. 5% out of the whole amount, they control everything.
How did that happen?
Money.
Power, so they never got the money in order to create their own.
Yeah, money, power, and privilege.
Wow. The same everywhere, huh? Wow.
Money, power, and privilege. So,
which is why I guess Marcus Garvey that was why it was so powerful.
Exactly.
To empower them.
Exactly. Because he didn't believe in working for anyone. You know, he said, hey, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm going to do entrepreneurship until I die. And that's it.
Wow.
You know, he did entrepreneurship. He helps the race, and I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, we just have to, and that's why it's so important. That's why I was telling Armin yesterday about entrepreneurship with the kids, and I think that's a salvation right there, because we were talking about just the amazing businesses that the kids had, and they're going to be, the goal is to get them on the show next week, and I think that's it, is to have those kind of creative conversations and those creative workshops and seminars where we're planting seeds, and they realize that they too can start these same type of businesses.
People just need a little encouragement. You know, you give them a little encouragement, then they'll start participating. They start getting into things, you know. So, yeah, I was thinking of a way that I can stimulate and motivate small business. I came up with a game.
Okay.
You know, for small business.
Okay.
Because, you know, small business owners, they kind of like games, and they kind of want something different but simple.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of times I've found, you know, you and I are researchers, and even within our business, we kind of create a lot of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they're not of that same type of fabric, I guess.
Yeah.
To be able to think of the creative ways that you can actually grow your business.
This is just one of those things that, you know, I ponder day by day, trying to figure out, okay, I want to come up with something. But then you come up with something and they, I don't need that. They don't support it.
Yeah.
They don't support it at all. So
yeah,
what do you do?
Yeah. But I mean, again, it's again solving. I think I know it has to be. It's that solving of a pain.
Yeah.
Because they have to see that there is a need, that they have to have whatever you have in order for them to, so you don't have to educate them on how to go about doing that, right?
Yeah.
So, and then from there, how do you multiply that or leverage that up?
See, that's the thing about it now. So you got to come up with something strategic. Something really unique, strategic, something that will keep them enticed, you know, something will make them want to participate. And then once you do that, and you find that these folks are supporting it, then when you go out and you're trying to sell it to another group, you get these guys as testimonials.
Yeah, but that's it. That's part of utilizing your your network, your social media network, in order to do that, which makes business a lot easier today than it was yesterday, because you did not have. You had to do traditional marketing.
Yeah.
You had to do. You had to spend large sums of money in order to get people to know that you were in business. Whereas today, you don't really have to spend that large sums of money. And so that brings us to our successful entrepreneurs of today. So one of them, obviously, we all know who this guy is, John Johnson, of the Johnson & Johnson family.
All right.
And in 1942, he used his mother's furniture as collateral to secure a $500 loan to start the publication Negro Digest, the forerunner to Ebony magazine. To build the magazine's circulation, he pre-sold subscriptions and subsequently asked friends to request it at newsstands. He parlayed his dream of publishing a magazine of Negro comment into a black gold mine. So Mr. Johnson ultimately became the chairman and CEO of a Johnson Publishing Company in Chicago, the largest owned publishing and cosmetic company in the world. His revenues in 1999 was $387 million. He saw the world as full of small battles rather than major wars. And he says, I always advise young people to dream small dreams because small dreams can be achieved. And once you achieve a small dream and a small success, it gives you the confidence to go to the next step.
That is amazing.
Right.
That is amazing. I see you have some other interesting people here on the list.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. That I really like too. You have Kathy Hughes.
Ah, yes, yeah. Miss Kathy Hughes. So that is our Miss Felicia's mentor. And Kathy is an American entrepreneur, in television and radio personality, and business executive who has a net worth of over $460 million. Wow. Kathy was born in Omaha, Nebraska in April 1947. She founded the company Radio One, which is now known as Urban One. Her company went public in 1999. Now, that's an aspect that we have not embraced yet.
No.
Was taking companies public. And so I have a friend, he was on Facebook earlier, named Keith McAllister.
That's what he does.
And that's what Keith does. He takes his companies public. Yeah. And he was actually one of the first people when I met him about 19 years ago. Yeah. And so that was back then. We worked for a company that had just gone public. And so he came in, and so he really understood that. So he's taken several companies public.
I'd like to pursue that.
Yeah. I think once you get Small Biz Pro to that place where it becomes, I think that would be that's your vehicle to make that happen. So you might have to invest what the money it takes in order to get it to that level, so that you can then start bringing in those type of subscriptions, and then that be the next level.
See, the thing is, a lot of people, in observing this type of approach, a lot of people want to be here, but they don't know how to get here.
Right.
So I think there should be a blueprint written somewhere or presented somewhere that people can see how to do that.
Yeah, and I think there are. I think it's just you have to elevate yourself to those type of people, right? Yeah. So I learned a lot when I was working with, when Keith and I were working together, and we worked at this company, and I did the accounting for that, the backside of it. And so I've done some work for them as well. Yeah. And maybe we can have Keith. Keith, if you're still there, we can have Keith come on the show and talk about how you take a business public. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. The more information you have and know that the possibilities are there, then you can start. Because if you start a business, your initial business with the plan to go public, then you're putting the things in place.
Right.
And so nowadays, anything that's internet-based, which is, when they start an internet-based or a digital type of company now, they're going with the assumption that we're going public at some point. So what does that mean that we need to do?
Right. Well, it just means that we got to follow those steps, those step-by-step principles, and it will go without a glitch because we know that the steps or the checklist is tested and proven. So
right, and I would say and it's not a limitation unless you make it a limitation, is that once you bring stockholders on board, like a nonprofit, now you are beholden to your board, right?
Right.
So you can't do things in the dark. Everything has to be transparent above board. Did you read this week that Apple was valuated at $1 trillion?
I'm kind of glad I'm not a part of that. I'm not a part of the person responsible for taking them there, because that's a lot of tablets and phones and watches that they sell. But again, they said that's a valuation price for
everything
being in the stock market.
Yeah, right. And that's so I read something interesting. So Facebook lost, is why they gained a valuation of $1 trillion. Stock Facebook lost 1.9 million. What did they lose last week in the stock market? I think it was 1.9. So I read an interesting thing about Facebook and what that meant. So that the reason that the stock went down, not necessarily because of the privacy violations, and they just identified a number of Russians that were trying to do the same thing for this year's election. What they talked about is the future earnings. So they were saying that one of the things with Zuckerberg is he's really not clear on what the true business model is for Facebook. Now, that's on a big scale. So we get that all the time on a little smaller scale if you don't truly understand what your product is and how you generate money. So the stockholders, obviously, is you got to make money. Right? That's why we're on. That's why we're public. And that's how they get paid. Right? So his thing, he's still there, I think, as it being that communication arm as when it was first created. The communication for that small group of people that were at Harvard and at the colleges, and then he grew out to all the other colleges. So it has grown into a much bigger platform than that. So he's still confused by that. So that's what they were saying. So they were saying the reason the stock market dropped was because the networking component. So he's been doing some things with the and this morning I saw it for the first time because I use Facebook and I use it with Hootsuite in order to market the show. And so for me to do that means all my Facebook platforms are on one platform that I can send out a blast and it can be scheduled to keep going because I couldn't do all of that with what I do, right? So this morning I couldn't do it because he no longer, my personal page profile, they've discontinued a third-party involvement, meaning that I can't put my personal page on Hootsuite and do a blast like that. So now it means I got to go back to individually doing my Facebook page, one page.
See, that's the thing I don't lean on some of these programs because you think you're going in a certain direction and then all of a sudden you go, hey, you got to come check with me first. No, you can't do that.
Right. So they changed the algorithm. So that's what's going on. So they were saying this is if I'm generating ads and for you to generate ads, you need to get as many eyeballs on the ad so people will engage to buy, right? So they're saying if he keeps changing the algorithms where you're not getting the same kind of traction and the same amount of eyeballs on an ad, then people are going to start coming off of Facebook. And if they start coming off of Facebook, then that's going to incite other people to come off of Facebook, again, the network, and then you're going to have far less ads and far less revenue. I'm thinking that was the best explanation I could have ever heard because that's our business.
That's true. That's true.
If we don't figure out a way, and that's what happens to small black businesses, is they don't market their businesses.
And they don't try to figure out how things are done.
Right.
So they can have an idea of the process, and then maybe they can circumvent it at some point.
Mm-hmm. So that's like that thing. Remember when we were doing the class, when we did the last certification class, and you actually have
that assessment tool?
Was it the assessment tool, the one that you showed how it all interacts together with the distribution and the whole bit? Yeah, which is very valuable.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's it made sense to me. It's like, wow. So even on that high level of Facebook,
right,
being up here, and you don't think they suffer from the same concerns that a small mom and pop would have, which is the same thing. They're just doing it on a bigger right. platform.
And I think a lot of small businesses have no empathy for them, because those guys are some of the big sharks that bully you out of the way.
Yeah, but then you can lose your place, because that's one of the things I talked to the kids about was look at Blockbuster when Redbox came about and when Netflix came about, right? Blockbuster was the business. Everybody was excited about Friday night and Saturday going to...
And they continuously improve. They continuously improve themselves. That's what they did.
Yeah. It just a product kept getting better and better until it became more convenient and more efficient for the consumer. So you always got to think about the consumer.
That's true.
Yeah.
I see we're at the top of the hour right now.
And so we'll take a quick break, guys.
Yeah, take a quick break. And if you're listening out there, please give us a call. Our number here is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. If you want to share some information with us, tell us that we're wrong and correct us, that's fine. We'll let you correct us. So give us a call, okay? Take a break.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Excellent. Are you contract ready? Are you bank loan ready? So I want to know how business ready you guys are. Part of what we want to do is to match you up with contract providers in Vegas, the casinos.
We put together this training for the contractors in Las Vegas to assist them in becoming business ready.
You know, when you first start a small business, the thing you're the shortest on is resources. So the association is actually providing the training free.
Now, Buchanan Associates, they're very well known throughout the U.S., mainly out of the California region, but they have produced so many successful companies that we felt if we brought them here to train our people, that it would allow for that growth because we have so many public works type projects, stadiums that are going to be built slated between now and the next 2 years, prepared to be able to do that work.
Excellent.
They'll be on next.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Today we're talking about amazing, outstanding entrepreneurs who have set the trend for us. They're trailblazers, and they've opened the door to entrepreneurship, independency, and a variety of other things. And Crystal has some great information, some great characters who've done some great work for us.
Yeah, they have. And like I said, some of them you know about, and some of them you don't. This is a young man. This is still of today. This guy I found very impressive. His name is Philip Koski. He started a company. He's the founder and the CEO of a company called Point Click Switch. He knew that to be an entrepreneur was in his blood. He did not know how he was going to become an entrepreneur, and just knew that that's what he wanted, and he enjoyed making money. Mm-hmm. And so at 12 years old, he started delivering newspapers that progressed to using his father's lawnmower to mow lawns, which manifested itself into college, with sponsoring bus trips to outlet malls, and now as the CEO and founder of Point Click Switch is an energy supply comparison website for energy deregulation markets in Washington, D.C., Connecticut, Illinois, and New Hampshire.
So all the user has to do is to take their mouse, point, click, switch. And switch. That's it. That's amazing.
Now, is that not a simple business what?
See, that's the thing with the millennials and the younger kids. They're thinking about simple, and we're thinking about all this complicated
like convoluted stuff. And complex.
Point, click, and switch.
Wow. And all he's doing is bringing the different marketplaces together.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
That's amazing.
And make one website. And I'm sure from the clicking side, he then gets the percentages every time they make a switch.
You know, Amazon pays a lot for that.
Yes, they do.
They're showing a new breed of millennials right now who are making millions of dollars doing that, where they set up these sites that's tied into Amazon. And when you go there looking for stuff, they get paid.
That's how Armand's going to teach us to do that.
All right. Well, I can't wait.
So here's one. Bluehost.
Yeah.
The website hosting.
Yeah.
He says that they pay $65 for everyone that connects.
Really?
To Blue. So that means if you, now think about this.
Yeah.
For every workshop we have, and for everyone that don't have a website, and then you suggest or recommend Bluehost.
Yeah.
So that's 10 people. You do that a month. You teach to, you talk to about 10 people a month,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Then you're making about $650 a month.
Oh.
Look how simple it was that.
As simple
Doing
as that.
what you do.
That's what I'm saying. We do it for free right now.
So, and how many programs do you recommend?
A lot.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people use QuickBooks.
A lot.
Right?
A lot.
So how many programs do you actually refer your clients to?
I would say at least 3 to 10.
So you become an affiliated, you join their affiliate, and it requires nothing more, and this is what Armin told me, nothing more than you going on down to the bottom of their website where it says affiliation. Click it, put your name and email in, and that's how you become
That's
affiliate.
it.
That's it.
Whew.
And then every time, and then they give you your own link, and then you send them to your website. When you're referring people, you send them to your website.
I'm going to check right now. That company that I told you about in the Valley, I'm going to check and see if they have that link set up.
Right. So there you go. So this young person, his name is Sonny Williams. He was the founder of a company called Teeny Dots. He said he was a big lawyer in Chicago, attorney. His honeymoon period with practicing law lasted about 17 minutes. Every day he went to work dreading going to work.
Wow.
This is not what he wanted to do. He wasn't passionate about practicing law. After reflection and considering where his skills and passions intersected with the needs of society, he founded Teeny Dots. So guess what Teeny Dots are?
What?
They create cartoons available on the web. He don't even create on the web to educate children and their family about surgical procedures and the common health and wellness issues. Now, I devote all my resources and energy into Teeny Dot full time. We're addressing huge issues in healthcare. And he did a Kickstarter campaign. He raised the money, so that's what he does. So he probably gets advertisement from doctors and hospitals and that kind of stuff, and that's how he makes his money. Doing something that he's passionate about
That's
doing.
what I'm talking about. And you and I are passionate about a lot of different things.
A lot of different things.
And we're not getting paid for it.
We're not getting paid for it. Here's a guy. So these are all people that are working together. The last one is a football player. His name is Tony McGee, former. And he's the founder and co-CEO of H&M Global Logistics. After he completed his 11-year NFL career, he established H&M with one simple plan, goal in mind. He wanted to make more money with his brain than he made with his body.
Yeah.
And so he partnered up with these guys. It's a full-service freight forwarder. They are a minority-owned company. They operated. While there's a host of minority-owned logistic companies, very few have capabilities in all methods of transportation. We offer a holistic approach to supply chain management. All you do is come together with people that are in the trucking business, and then you just connect people.
Yes.
So and he invested in it because he wanted to do that. Now that's yesterday's. That's today, yesterday, and today. So now let's talk about the new ones that are coming up, like the ones that I just trained, that I just did this camp. So this young lady. So we're talking technology now, and so they always say that we don't know anything about technology, and therefore we probably will never make money in that area. Well, this young lady, her name is Angela Benton, and she's a millennial. She founded a company called New Me Accelerator. So she's doing what we do. She's been recognized as a change agent and one of the internet industries influenced by numerous publications. They help hundreds of entrepreneurs launch businesses and raise funding from investors, most notably several companies from the equity portfolio, and have raised over $16 million.
Wasn't she the lady we had on our show?
No, this is
from San Diego.
Is that her?
Yeah, from San Diego, right?
Oh, okay.
Is that her?
Is that her?
Yeah.
Was her name Angela?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, well then that's her.
And remember, we had lunch with her over there in the Crenshaw.
Exactly. Well, this is her.
Yes, because I remember she's talking about this accelerator program right here.
Right. So this is her.
Yes.
So this is what she does. So it's a technology accelerator focused on underrepresented minorities in the tech industry. And so they recently moved to Miami, the company. So here's another group of young African-American entrepreneurs. Jalen Bledsoe, he's 17 years old. He's the founder and CEO of Jalen D. Bledsoe Group and is a motivation and public speaker on the topics of young entrepreneurship, digital strategy, brand development, and youth rights. His company focuses on helping his clients develop their brand. His clients include superstars like Steve Harvey and Jordan Sparks. 17.
That's making me feel bad.
Right, exactly.
Making me feel bad.
Essence Moore, she's a 13-year-old entrepreneur. She founded a company called Essence Couture, a spa and boutique business for teens and tweens.
Wow.
She also authored a book entitled 6th Grade Middle School Chronicles.
Wow.
And is known in her community as the motivational speaker who speaks on topics of entrepreneurship. She also has her own clothing line.
Amazing.
13.
Amazing. Very impressive.
That's
and
the
amazing.
entrepreneurs of tomorrow.
Yes.
Sharon Stevens, she's a 20-year-old entrepreneur, is the CEO and founder of Undercover Customer, a customer server consulting company that uses training and evaluations to help organizations generate more revenue by improving their customer service experience. He has also published a best-selling book on customer service entitled Undercover Customer, 100 Ways to Fix Your Broken Customer Service.
We should have these folks on the show.
I know. I don't know where he is, but I'll reach out. Maybe we can have him.
Phone.
No.
We can do a phone.
So now, that's Carolyn Hines.
Yes, that is.
I'm feeling bad because we got to do the book.
Yeah.
Because we can do 100 ways to not fail in business, not tell yourself no, a whole number of things that we can do. So the next one is Mose Bridges. He's a 13. Now, this young man, I use him in my classes. There's many videos about him.
Mo Bowes?
He's Mose Bowes. So have you seen Mose Bowes in his little videos?
I haven't seen him, but you told me about it.
Yeah.
It was in your program. Oh, no, this is the other Bowes. This is the one on Shark Tank.
Yeah, this is the young man on Shark Tank.
Yes.
He just won. I just showed a video to the kids. He just won a award in Memphis, Tennessee, where he lives.
Oh, really?
And for being such an enterprising entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur.
I remember him.
Yeah, so Mose Zaig with the little southern accent. He actually was also on Steve Harvey's show.
Yes, and he was on Shark Tank, too.
He was on Shark Tank, yeah.
Didn't get a deal, but he got mentorship from Damon John.
No, there's a young lady recently who was on Shark Tank. She does the lemon.
Yes, the lemonade.
Honeybee.
Yes.
So she just got $100 million contract with Whole Foods. So she had a trial with Whole Foods, and now they've actually extended it to $100 million.
That's amazing.
So Damon John is her mentor.
That's amazing.
He's the one that funded her.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Now this young lady, she's 15. She's the founder of a business of Maya's Ideas, an apparel line that produces eco-friendly clothes and accessories. She's also a philanthropist, designer, artist, animator. Her designs are sold all over the world, and she has customers in Denmark, Italy, Australia, and more.
Wow. See, there's no stopping in these millennials, the young kids. No stopping in them. And it would be nice if some of the older entrepreneurs like ourselves would kind of take the lead from some of these guys.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
One of the things, and next year I'll have you, or actually we're gonna look at expanding the Biz Camp into a monthly entrepreneur.
Oh,
so you got to come and see the kids, because I have a couple of people who came in as mentors and coaches. And they have been so inspired because, again, you got to remember, these kids come to me with a blank slate. They're like an empty nothing there.
Yeah.
And then I give them the spiel that we give to our clients all the time. The same ones you probably have given when you've done business plan classes. Solving a problem, identifying the problem, and solving the pain. Now, the only thing that we don't do, because we assume that they can because they're adults, but what I do, I would say the only thing that I do different with the kids than I do with the adults is I actually tell them what are some pains that you see in your community. And then I ask them, what are some of the pains that you see at work? I mean, at school. And then I ask them, what are some of the pains that they hear their parents complaining about? And that's where these kids get their ideas
That's
from.
great.
So we don't do that with our adults, right? Because we assume that they already know what those pains are, but they don't utilize their minds or their creativity to that level. So I think that's the missing piece for the adult.
Right.
Now, the last time I did an adult biz camp class, what I did was I had them kind of give me some ideas, and then before we even got into business plan writing, we got into create a vision board and see how that vision of what they wanted to do tie it into their lives, and if they were married, their husbands' lives and their children, and then tie it in to see where you actually was making an impact and solving a problem.
Wow.
So
that's good. That's a good strategy.
When I did that, a couple of them, they started their businesses. Whereas in the past, because sometimes they don't see it. We think they see it, and it sounds good, and then they put it on paper, and you can put anything on paper.
Right.
And if you can figure out how to produce the financials, to how you making money, that's easy.
That's true.
But it's when you actually have to see it. So some of the kids in the BITS camp, and they did this on their own, they told me what they were going to do, and I didn't correct it. But I knew when we got the way we do the business, when we do the, and you might want to incorporate this in yours, the way we do the business model is they have to identify the one unit. It's very simplified. They have to identify the one unit, and then what are the variable costs, what is the selling price, and then what are the variable costs to produce that, and then subtract that from your labor, and then, so they can't figure out how they can charge.
Right.
And they can't figure out, well, that might be to extract. How do I get some variable expenses? And how do I get some labor? And then when they start doing the startup costs, they finally see the feasibility. And then they're like, I think I need to change this. So I had so many kids change that, like in the last, like 2 days before the competition.
That's amazing.
Because they couldn't make money out of it.
Money.
But I could have said that. How many times have you said that to your client? Like, how you going to make money? No, I'll make money.
I'll make some money. Don't worry about it.
Right. But no. And you see it.
Yeah.
So you have to let them come. That's what I've recognized that when I'm working with kids.
I like that.
You have to change up the strategy.
I like that. That's good.
So what we can see from the people that we've talked about, there are no age limits or no color barrier really to creating a business. It's really what is an idea and how passionate are you? And the sky is the limit.
Got to come up with a neat solution to a pain. And that's it.
And I think we have to stop thinking about just in our backyard. Because our businesses are not in our backyard.
No. The pain is global. The pain isn't just here in Crenshaw or, in Los Angeles. It's global.
And I think for you, for Small Biz Pro, I think, I was thinking about this today, you need to go where procurement is all the time, right? So where is procurement?
You're right.
That's how these people make their money.
You're right.
So where is that?
People who have their 8A certifications, those are the kinds. People who are trying to do business with the county, the state, those are
right. And in what states do they do more of that?
Well, you got them here. You got them here, and D.C. Yes,
federal.
Yes.
Most of the blacks in D.C. make their money through.
Or Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's a unique thing about Atlanta. Hey, Cosette, thank you. Atlanta in 1975, 65, somewhere around, it was an actual strategy to create entrepreneurial businesses and pull them away from working from governmental agencies. So they actually created workshops and classes and seminars so Atlanta really has the highest percentage of African American entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of wealth in Atlanta. So when we've had several recessions, especially this last one, whereas in Los Angeles and other cities, because you were told to go get you a government job, who were the first people who were finally all laid off from those government middle management jobs that could not be duplicated in the civilian life.
Yeah.
And so they had no jobs.
That's right.
So Atlanta did something different. Atlanta created entrepreneurs. So there are a lot of entrepreneurs, and there are a lot of procurement that goes on. So you need to not worry about here now. Come back to here later.
Well, I've already realized that. Yeah, I already realized that. So
you might want to invest. I would say invest money in advertising in those areas. And minority. What's that magazine? Minority Diversity.
The MB magazine, and then an entrepreneurial magazine as well.
You need to do that, and you might want to talk to my friend Alicia, because Alicia she was honored, and she actually went to received some honorary for doing impactful things in the minority certification area, because she worked for Northrop, right? But she also had they looked for articles from her to write in the magazine.
Really?
So you might want to write some articles.
That would be great. Being a contributing writer, that would be great. Yeah. Got a lot of materials.
You got tons of
materials. Yeah.
Right.
That would be great.
Yeah. So you got to go where the people are.
See, this is good that we're brainstorming right now, Crystal.
Right,
this is excellent.
What you're doing, and this is something I learned a long time ago, and I learned this because my girlfriend and I were starting a business, and what we recognize, if you have to educate, it costs you too much money to educate people to want to buy your product. You need somebody that already gets it, and they're always going for 4 and 5, 10, 15 proposals at a time. And that they get the concept that they need to have that information at their fingertips.
I agree.
But see, this way you're trying to get them to see it and understand it.
And they're not seeing it.
And the cost of your product for somebody that's going after millions and millions of dollars of contracts
is nothing.
Nothing. That's a whatever. A dash in the pan.
It's like a giveaway.
It's like a giveaway. So I think that's what needs to happen. You have to just rethink.
That's true.
Yeah. So you're identifying your real target market.
This is what you call this is my spirit check right here today.
Yeah, this is your spirit check.
This is my check. Michelle, if you're listening, I'm getting my spirit check right here from my co-host. This is great.
Right.
This is great.
Because you can make far more money, because all you need to do is get Small Biz Pro to a point where someone sees the value, and then they come to you and make an offer.
Yeah, they'll come to me.
They'll come to you and making your offer instead of you running after them for the offer. You got to make it. It's like a woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If we're looking to get married or we're looking for someone to date, that means we got to work on the attraction piece, right, and making us attractive to whoever we're trying to go after.
Yes.
Because it doesn't work if we're chasing them down.
No.
We got to get them to want us. And so that means you do the hair, your makeup, your how you smell, what you look like.
Yeah. That's true.
Right?
That's
so you need to
true.
dress up Small Biz
Yeah,
Pro.
dress her up, put some lipstick on her.
Put some lipstick on her and take her to the people that would be most attracted to Small Biz Pro.
That's right.
Right? So right now you got her in dungarees.
Yeah, exactly.
She looking like a working class person. You better go put on some high heels on. The red, what did Wendy say? Some red bottoms.
The red bottoms. Put some red bottoms on her, some lipstick.
Yeah, make her attractive to the people that want her, and start reaching out to those, and then advertise and market.
I hear that.
Magazines.
This is great. This is good feedback, Crystal.
Yeah, because you working with what I've known you now for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
and the product is great. And you've gone back in with the product, and you've spruced her up a little bit.
Spruced her up, dressed her up,
and added some things.
Sent her to college, educated her a little bit.
So now she is ready for
She's
you to
ready.
debut her, send her to the debutante ball, but in the debutante ball in the space that people would really recognize her value.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
That is true.
So it's just where you've been doing it.
That is true. That is so true.
And once that happens, you won't have to worry about anybody from over here. Because they're going to come after you.
Yeah, they will be attracted to it. I won't even have to sell it.
Nope.
I won't even have to sell it. You know, it will sell itself.
It'll sell itself. So, and when we look at these kids things, just look at the ones we just read.
Yeah.
They ain't doing anything more. And these are kids.
Yeah, that's true.
When Moselle Bridges, one of the things that I've seen, and I use this in my class with the kids, is when you look at his video, and next week I'll have one of his videos. This is a little short one that I use for the kids. It's Mo's personality that they bought into. Yeah. Because he's like a little man in a little boy's body. And he has that southern accent. And he just is smiling and doing his little thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
he's very confident.
And very confident. I have nothing, his bow ties ain't doing nothing different than anybody else's bow ties. But this young man, he's young and he's got total personality. Yeah. Even Chook, the little boy that does archives. Chook has personality just oozing out of him. And you buy him.
That's true.
Yeah, so you got to dress up Small Biz Pro.
That is true. Yes.
So we got a few more minutes. I'm going to read some others here. Okay. These individuals, they're Farrell Gray. At age 20, Gray may have been one of the youngest millionaires in the world. He grew up in East Chicago and had experienced poverty and many other social hardships during his childhood. He started his first business at the age of 6 by selling household objects. When he was 13, he managed to convince a group of businessmen to invest, and then he started his first company called Far Out Foods. And Farrell Gray is undoubtedly one of the most inspiring young entrepreneurs of today's time. And he is 20 years old.
20 years old. It's amazing.
Right. So I'm going to do some research on him to see exactly who he actually encouraged.
Yeah.
Jay-Z. Yeah. Now, in my opinion, I'm not much into rap, but I don't think Jay-Z is the best rapper of all time. Yeah. But he writes well, right? And he knows really where his true value lies. Yes. And then he's taken that and he's created his brand, his empire. He's mentored others, and he has just accumulated millions and millions.
You know what's amazing about Jay-Z that I really liked? When he came on the scene, he wasn't about just doing a song, get it produced by a producer, getting the song on the charts. He was about managing the process, owning the process, getting a big piece of the process. You see what I mean? And that's what many of us entrepreneurs don't do. We don't try to own the process, own what we're contributing to it. We just want to participate and let someone do it for us. And that's the thing with many artists, singers, rappers. they get the song out there and they're just thinking about the song making some money. They're not thinking about the publishing rights.
Right.
Because that's where the money is.
That's where the
publishing.
Real money
you see what I'm saying?
Which is why they've been taken.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Eazy-E? He got taken because of the fact that he didn't own his own music.
They don't own the publishing rights. So even if they do a song and the producer owns the publishing to that, that producer can take that song and put it in a movie. They can put it wherever they want. They get the money, not you.
Right, exactly.
You see what I mean?
And you know that firsthand.
Oh, yeah,
firsthand. You've been there, right?
Firsthand.
So if you had the rights to your music,
oh, man,
we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
We wouldn't.
I probably wouldn't even have had you as my co-host because you would have never ever got here.
That is
right?
true. That is true.
Understanding that.
Yeah.
Now, you learned that firsthand. So when we think of diversifying some of your skill sets, that's a skill set that you learned firsthand.
For sure.
So young rappers like LaRon, making sure that you can teach them.
Don't make the same mistake as I did.
And how to go about doing it.
Because my thing is, before LaRon put out the first song, what he wants to do, not only is he going to copyright it, but he's also going to publish it, be responsible for your publishing. So then, even if you never get to rap that song, but somebody else does it, you're getting publishing for that. You see what I mean? Even someone steals the song, you're getting the publishing for
so
that.
You're not, I mean, you see what I'm saying? But you're not upset because no matter what, you're going to get paid.
Exactly.
And so and this is a great segue because the next young entrepreneur is Brian Birdman Williams, the co-founder of Cash Money Records.
Yes.
And he was once featured on a TV program called New Bows, The Rising America Black Overclass. So Cash Money now receives 85% royalty and 50% of the publishing revenue from Universal.
Yeah.
So far, Cash Money has sold over 45 million records, and as one of the most successful young black entrepreneurs, his accomplishment is truly inspiring.
And see, a lot of people don't know about him. They never heard about him.
I've never heard about him, but obviously...
You see what I'm saying? And he's making all that money. All that money. He's doing it quietly, stealth mode. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, didn't Jermaine Dupri, that was married to Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
And it says here, before turning 20, Dupri was already accomplished ample success as a performer and a musician.
Yeah.
He then created his label, So Def, and had many well-known rap performers under his label. And soon Dupri started So Sports and became his business in the sporting industry, and recently he was appointed to be the president of Virgin Records Urban Music and Island Record Urban Music.
Yep.
So taking your talent, but again, you're right.
Yeah.
They get caught up in the front,
exactly,
and forget the back end.
Exactly.
The back end is where the money.
That's where the money
made.
is. That's where the money is, and that's what a lot of the other folks. I'm not going to say, who they are or what classification they belong to. But that's what the other folks say. They say, you know what, you guys are in the glitz and glamour and all of that. We're cool. We'll stay in the background. We'll make all the money. You guys go out there and brag. And you see what I'm saying? So I'm looking at this and I'm going, we got to learn the business side of this thing. We got to learn how many widgets are being produced. What it costs for each of those widgets to be produced. How much is it sold for? How much are we getting out of it?
Right. And it's not necessarily the entry or the business model may start out as you're selling that front widget.
Yeah.
But then it may be 10, 15 other widgets on the backside that can be created. So when you really look at the music industry, if I'm a singer or a rapper, but I also have talent to write, then that's a revenue stream.
Exactly.
And if I'm a musician, that's a revenue stream.
Another revenue stream.
And then if I have business knowledge, and then I have the management
aspect of it.
That's another revenue stream. And then if I can teach new people coming in, and then I can make sure I get a percentage of whatever they're doing, identifying the talent, which is what the premise of Shark Tank is.
Yes.
Is because they made their money from whatever their products were, right? But what they have done is now they're going out and helping others and mentoring others, and they're getting a percentage of their action.
Yes.
And all they're really doing is introducing them to their contacts. They're not getting dirty.
No. No.
They're not down there like new entrepreneurs putting the widgets together.
Right.
No, I'm introducing you to my manufacturer, and then I'm going to get a little piece of that. And then I'm introducing you to my this person. I'm going to get a little piece of that. And I'm going to get a little piece of that.
Yes.
And they're actually becoming even more wealthy, utilizing and leveraging now the contacts that they've made over the time.
That's
frame.
exactly it.
So we don't think about, and it's really that same concept. So that's what we need to do. That concept that you taught was taking our businesses and seeing what other revenue resources are there based upon all our skill sets.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly. A lot of us may know this, but we're not thinking about it. We're not
look at you and I both do this,
You
right?
see what I'm saying?
So, and because I have to do the research for the show, I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's a lot easier way for us to do what we do. And we need to embrace that and let go of. And I know what happens because we're all there, and we just talked about this earlier, is letting go of being right there on the front line and saying, you know what, we need to back up. And then what is it, where am I now that I enjoy the most? Now, for me, the training and the teaching is something that I'm getting far more pleasure out of than the day-to-day mechanics. Because the day-to-day mechanics are very cumbersome, but you and I both have acquired a lot of knowledge. And we should be compensated for that.
That's what I'm talking
But
about.
until we release the teeny tiny stuff,
we got to do that.
People can't see.
They can't
that's
see
where
it.
our next thing
Can't
is.
see it. And you know what's amazing, Crystal? So here we are pitching our talent, our skills to this market right here. And we may not even be recognized and get the revenues that we deserve from this market. It may be in Zambia, it may be in Ghana, it may be in Nigeria. You see what I'm saying? Or Australia.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably where we're going to hit. But we don't really realize that right now. We're just focused on this market. Oh, we're in Los Angeles, we're in California.
And we don't have to be because we have the internet that can take us anywhere.
Exactly.
And so that's why I want us to now get into the online training space, because I think that will give us the impact and get us to be more internationally impactful. And even domestically, because now we realize that we don't have to be just in one little concentrated area.
No. And that's where this is going to really take off for us. So once we get that one book that we're working on now.
And that's why the show is so important, because, and we need to, and then I was telling Armand, we need to take this to the next level. We need more people to see it. So that's why we got to invest in some money to make that happen. But then the affiliated marketing and all the things that we do, because as consultant, and he was telling me, he said, people go on YouTube and have become experts in how to icing cakes. Well, we're doing things a little bit more complicated than that, right? And they have millions and millions of people. We just need to understand, and they're doing it every day. So what we don't have is the blueprint. So now we need to go get the blueprint so that we can once again pivot and now use, because our content is valuable.
We got to get Zarian in here to do that recording, videotaping and put it.
And so we can get that over, and then we'll meet with Ilya. So how do we do that? How do we? Because this platform is excellent for us.
Amazing.
To get to that place.
Amazing.
We're just not utilizing. So when I did a workshop or a 12-week program over at Dorsey, one of the things I did, because the kids they weren't dreamers. I think I told you that, right? And this was all new territory for them. And then I also recognized that they didn't have any dreams or goals. So I had to get them there before I could even teach them about entrepreneurship, right? So the way I did that was I took a grape. It was like a picture I had. I had to get basic. So I had a picture, and it was a cluster of grapes. So at the very top was the leaf. And then most of the kids know that they want to be they want to play football, they want to play basketball, they want to play soccer, they want to do that, because that's something that they see easily attainable, right?
Yeah.
So a couple of them wanted to be photographers. So then I said, okay, so put that there. This is, you don't know how it's going to happen, but you want to be a soccer player. So now think about, as a soccer player, one, how long do you have? And how do soccer players really make their money? Well, most sports figures make their money through what? Endorsements, right?
Yeah.
And then, but then how do they continue on? Then they have their endorsements. But then those endorsements can provide you with the resources to create a clothing line, a tennis shoe line, a hat line, or whatever, accessory line, right?
Yeah.
And then you got more money, and then that can create the digital products that you can create. So now we've created multiple levels of businesses that have come off of that one goal that you had.
Amazing.
And just like that guy, Tony McKee said, I want to make more money with my brain than I want to make with my body.
Yeah.
And that's what Kobe did, right? So Kobe, he didn't really want to be in the Hollywood scene, not the acting like Rick Fox.
Right.
But Kobe went into the backside of it. He went into the producing and creating a format in his own production company, which he gets percentages off.
Oh, for sure.
So he gonna work forever. Once Rick is having a little more trouble finding him some work because he didn't do the same thing. And Shaq, look at Shaq.
Once his prettiness start wearing off.
Right, yeah. He gets the old man tape, whatever, tummy, what have you. Come on, Rick. But and then Kobe. I mean, if you're going into to be an athlete today with the kind of money that they're making, and I'm going to say this for the football players. We had this conversation this morning because, again, the season's about to start back up. So now we're going to be back to the kneeling issue again, right? So technically, it makes sense to me, and it probably makes sense to you, if 70% of the ball players are black, then all of you come together and walk off and say, I am not playing for the month of September.
Yeah.
So are they going to fire all of them?
They can't.
They can't, right? Because that's the end of the sport, right? But a lot of them are afraid because of the money. But what if you had taken that money you made and start creating businesses that you have more money generated from those other businesses than from this over here?
Right.
Yeah, you may enjoy playing the sport, but if you make a stand for something that's important to you, you can do this if you have resources coming from somewhere that's not controlled over here.
That's true.
And I think as black people, that's what we have to see entrepreneurship as. The vehicle that you are no longer under someone else's control that can determine your dignity and your destiny. And the only way we can do that is through creating our own businesses.
I totally agree.
And when you look at all of those guys that I read about, they were dealing with racism far more extreme than what we're doing. But for this man to have created $167 million, but he was up against more stuff than we are.
You know, it's amazing. I was meeting with someone yesterday. It's an African American gentleman. And he was talking about some of the struggles that he's experiencing. He's working with a government agency.
Right.
And he's saying he gets passed over so many times for certain higher managerial positions that he can definitely do, but they don't see him as that. They don't recognize him. And I said, I get you. I feel you. I've been there before. I applied for the city manager's position in the city of Alhambra. And, they take 1, 2 look at me. No, it's okay. We got somebody else.
Right, exactly.
You see what I mean? So I tell them, I get it. I understand. So when those types of things happen, all you got to do is say, hey, I'm not cut out to be an employee. I got to become an entrepreneur. Because then that's the only time you can work towards establishing your salary, your revenues that you want, and that's unlimited. That's
right.
Exactly. No one can tell you how much you're going to make.
Nope.
But you.
But you.
You're going to be your own boss. You're going to be the one making that salary and make as much as you possibly can. So you say, yeah, that's true. I say, well, do it. Let's get out there. I can give you the foundation to get you started. I got the system. You can get started, and then I'll guide you. I'll coach you. I'll mentor you. But do it. Don't think about being an employee anymore.
And that was when I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. But again, and this happens because you get a job and you're getting that paycheck every week and every month, whatever it is, every 10 days. And so I, even though I had a game plan, the last job when I worked in corporate America, I stayed there 5 years too long because I was making pretty decent money. But then there were certain things that took place. One of them was the crash, the S&L crash. And so because I was in the insurance financial industry, that's usually the first thing you start to cut out is life insurance. And you might keep your health insurance, but life insurance, you put that on the back burner. And as well as purchasing mutual funds and anything that are financial products, right? Because you start pulling everything out. And so that was like, wait a minute. So then it became harder to make the money. And then the environment started to change because everybody else was finding it harder to make the money. And then I got to a point where it was miserable. To get up to go to work was a miserable experience. And I had to, and that was I think when I first was, I went to my very first Les Brown motivational speak. And when I walked out, I bought his I must have bought 4 or 5 packages of his motivational DVDs. And I listened to him every single day. That was the only way I could get to work. And then I thought, oh, this is ridiculous. And then I started with my plan to exit out. And really, I had it, but I wasn't really executing because you get lazy, right? So I think you're absolutely right. But again, they have to identify. And sometimes it's just a matter of look at what you're doing for them. And just like Patricia, you weren't here when I interviewed a young lady that used to work for Edison. And she was retiring early. I think they were doing an early retirement. She turned around and because what they were doing for Edison was pretty specialized as employees. And then she put together, and then they laid these people off. Or gave them their little golden pairs. She turned around and put together that same crew that she was working with as a consultant and went right back on into Edison.
See that? That's what I'm talking about.
And made more money as a consultant. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Sometimes you just got to think, I don't want to say outside of the box, but just expand your mind. Expand it.
The possibilities are greater. Just because it looks this way, that it doesn't have to be wrapped and packaged that same way. You can rewrap it and package it another way and take it and deliver it to I have so many friends that have left their corporate jobs, packaged what they did, because they were very good at what they did, packaged it, went back in. They already have relationships. Their work is already known. Packaged and went in to be a consultant. I had a friend that made $1 million. He became a millionaire that way.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly.
But it's looking at the package, not being the singer on the stage, but being the person behind the scenes, and then packaging that. That's going to make you more money than being the person on the front line.
That's exactly it.
That's just simply, guys, that really is as simple as it gets with entrepreneurship.
That's it. It's simple. You got to pick a path, be committed to the path, do your research, do your due diligence, and then just go for it. Go for it. That's it.
And I always say, let that child, that inner child in you that's not afraid of loss, that's not afraid, and have curiosity and have a burning desire to just try new stuff. That's really all it is, to be an entrepreneur. And then build your team. Then find you a mentor or a coach or consultant that will help walk you through the stuff that you don't know. Expand your network so that you have people that will help promote you and help get your name out there. Do a damn good job at what you do. until your reputation actually precedes you out there.
That's true. That's exactly what it is. And as an entrepreneur, you got to always think of being a risk taker.
Yeah.
Got to take risk.
Right, exactly.
Got to take risk. You cannot play it safe and expect to succeed, because playing it safe means that you're not going out there, you're not going after certain things that looks 50-50.
Right.
You're not going to do that.
Just calculated risk.
Yeah.
Calculated
Exactly.
risk.
If you go after the things that are 70-30 or 60-40, then those are only very few of those that
exactly.
exist.
Mm-hmm.
But the 50-50 ones, or even if it's lower, it looks like a 30-70, go after it.
Go
because
after
you
it
never
and give it
know.
a try.
You
Or
never
partner.
know. Or partner.
Like you can collaborate and partner. I mean, we couldn't do half the stuff. And every area I have partners.
Yes.
And again, partnership is selecting a person that there has to be certain characteristics that you duplicate in each other, and that they're respected in their field, and you're respected in your field, and then collaborate together to utilize your skill sets.
That's right.
And
you gotta do that partnership.
Yeah, that partnership, because you can't do everything by yourself.
No.
And you don't want to.
No.
Yeah.
And the thing is, two people bring two different sets of skills to the table. No matter how similar you are, there's two different sets of skills. So you may go to school, have the same degree, you have two sets of skills, because this person may have certain skills that's not written on paper. It's more transferable skills that they can bring to the table. And this person over here has, different types of skill set. And you bring them all together, now you got a complete packet.
And you got a complete, and then you sell that package. You wrap that that baby up in a ribbon. And you go sell it.
And you put it out there.
And again, about the reputation. So, last week when we had Michelle and Wendy on the show, now that was my first time meeting them. Yeah. But there are other people because Wendy, I think it was Michelle that said, "Oh no, I know you. Yeah. You may not know me, but I know about you." And then it turns out that we had a lot of people in common. Yeah. Hey Keith, we were just talking about you earlier. We want you on the show to talk about how do you create a business to go public. So we will talk when we're offline, and you tell me how that works.
Excellent.
And we'll share that with our audience. But in your reputation, when I tell people you're my partner, or somebody will meet me, they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, Gilbert's your partner? Oh, yeah, you're cool, right?" So that became it increased both of our value, and our valuation goes up just by the fact that we each have our own space.
I met this lady today, and she said, "Crystal, I know Crystal. I'm trying to remember her name. I met her at USC. And she knows you." I'm going, wow.
Right.
Now, there's a lady named Billups, Robin Billups.
Oh, Robin. We need to get Robin on the show.
Yes.
Robin is very involved in the procurement space and supply diversity.
Yes.
You know her son.
I know her
Kevin,
son.
He's no longer, he used to be with LA Unified.
He's not there anymore? He went to Hansel Phelps,
He went to Hansel Phelps,
yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And that's how I met him, was at that, they had that steer crew where you come in for workshops and training and learn about the opportunities that are in LA Unified, the hanging fruit opportunities that you don't have to really bid for.
Right.
But we have to get Robin on the show. I've talked to her a couple of times about being on the show.
She was at the event today.
Oh,
she was out there. But there's a lady who was saying your name. She said, "Oh, yeah, I know Crystal." I said, "Man, Crystal, your name is out there. They know you.
Get around
You're a celebrity."
They'll go, "Gilbert, oh my God." Yes, I get the same thing when I'm out and they recognize, or if I'm handing out our postcard, they'll go, "Oh, wait, I know him." Yeah, you know him. Right? Or I talk about the show and I may send them over a little clip from the show. And they'll go, yeah, so it was great. So this was the best partnership we could have possibly
That's what
created.
I'm talking about. We're going to take it to the next level. We're going to monetize this thing right now.
Yeah, it's time that we monetize our talents and our skills.
We're going to monetize this.
We've 2 hours of
2 hours already.
And when I start talking about Small Biz Pro, you woke up.
I know. See, that was my 4 to 6 time frame.
Right, exactly.
I'm telling you, man. Even when I try to resist it and just say, you're not going nowhere. I'm gonna put you to sleep.
We have to find a subject that best suits keeping you awake, and I think you're so ready to take Small Business Pro to the next level. You put so much time and energy.
So ready, man. So ready.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make this thing happen, Crystal. Those of you who are listening, I'm sure you learned a lot from us today, sharing our insights, sharing our experience, sharing what some of the other trailblazers before us achieved and accomplished. I really know that some of you've got it in you. You just need that little push, that little extra push. Crystal and I, we can push you. Let us know.
Yes, exactly.
We'll be happy to give you a little push. Not going to push you over the cliff now, but we're going to give you a little push, okay?
And also do your research. Start reading about, get a subscription to Black Enterprise.
Yes, and Entrepreneur Magazine. Or even Inc. Magazine.
Right, because in Forbes Magazine, and you can do all that online. Yeah. I actually get those as online subscriptions. Doesn't cost me anything.
Oh, really? It's
but
free?
I get them, and I get that's where I get a lot of this information.
Oh, that's great.
Fast Company. So I'm online subscriptions are they don't cost you anything.
Yeah, that's a great place to do market trends and market research.
And find out what new trends are out there, what new businesses. Right now, anything in the energy and anything to do with solar. Yeah. And I've noticed there now, if you're in the you're an engineer or you're in a business where you can go learn about solar, because all of the shopping centers and all of the public shopping areas are now putting in the EV solar paneling, charging for electric cars. And that trend, that's going to be the next trend. And so those are the type of, you're not quite sure what kind of business, but you're in some facet of a skill where you got a contractual skill and there's an electrician or what have you. Go figure out how to get into the solar energy.
Yes, definitely. And you know our number here. Our number 323-293-3375. Or if you want to reach us, Crystal, your email is?
cmitchell544@gmail.com.
And I'm Gilbert at thebuchanangroup.net. You can't go wrong. Give us a call.
Right. And so now, guys, it's 5 o'clock. And so we will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy enjoy the weather that we have going on.
Yes.
And we'll see you next Friday. Call us and let us know if you came up with some new entrepreneurial ideas that can take you to that next level.
Exactly. And you've been on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. We're out.
See you next week.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement, yes, I'm ready to go. Got my balance sheet, my P&L, my statement of cash flow. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.